Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of In Case You Missed It. You might be wondering why Thursday over Friday. Well, we've got an exciting announcement today, as well as a special guest that will be joining us. Today, we are going to talk about Whyline. And actually, we're also announcing that this is a company that eRepublic Ventures, part of our eRepublic ecosystem, is investing in, and is now part of the eRepublic family and portfolio as one of the startups for 2021. So Mike Twersky from Whyline, CEO and co-founder, has joined us to kind of break down what they're doing, all the great success that they've had both in Latin America and what they've got planned for the U.S. So Mike, thanks so much for carving some time out to share a little bit about what you're working on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks very much for having me.
So maybe just to start, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Absolutely. So based in New York, originally from Queens, grew up there. And funnily enough, my background in a previous life, I was an investment banker. So I worked at JP Morgan for close to 10 years in different areas of the investment bank. But I covered mostly Latin American clients throughout. I always thought it was very interesting within the international arena to cover the emerging market space, and being based in New York, Latin America was sort of the default region to cover. So I fell into it that way and ended up falling in love with it, spent some time working and living down there as well. Always sort of had the entrepreneurial bug lurking somewhere deep inside though, and recognized it had to be brought out at the right time for the right reason. And I think beyond the idea and somewhat of a nest egg, finding the right team around me. And I think that came together quite nicely through a confluence of circumstances about 5 years ago, when we started this adventure.
Awesome. And I know, there's tons of challenges and complex problems to solve in government. What's the government problem that Whyline is helping state and local agencies tackle?
Yeah, so very simply, we solve the pain point for the government's constituency base of waiting in a queue or in a crowded waiting room. And conversely, for the government agencies themselves, we help them improve all these inefficiencies surrounding these bottlenecks, all of which feed directly to the bottom line of their P&L. So it's a win-win for both sides.
So you mentioned your Latin America roots and your work there with the government. Can you tell me a little bit about your success with your public sector clients abroad and how you believe that will apply to the United States?
Yeah, so we started there. We felt it was fertile ground to test out the concepts, see what users really wanted, prove or disprove our hypotheses, kind of the nail it and scale it approach, so to speak, and then work our way up northern over time. And we have, I think, in a short period of time, done a pretty incredible job within the public sector there as well. So just to give you a sense, we work with a number of government agencies across the region, most notably in Argentina, where we work with DMVs, municipal courthouses, permitting offices, public sector hospitals, again, all around solving these bottlenecks with respect to queuing and congestion.
So it'd be interesting to maybe break down some of the actual public sector use cases for the Whyline technology. What are some of the ideal use cases, departments or agencies that are most applicable to the technology?
Yeah, it's quite similar here in the US as well. Very similar to what we're doing down there. We see tremendous pain points with respect to unnecessary, inefficient capacity management, over congestion at certain periods of the day, and very long queues for simple things to do. So we came to market with a very simple SaaS solution, but it's quite complicated in the way it was built and very intuitive for both the user and the government's administration, where the constituency base can see the live wait times and levels of congestion before they ever leave their home, and let the software effectively wait for them so they don't have to first show up, see this long queue or crowded waiting room, and either walk around the block a couple times or wait in a stuffy room until someone calls your name. And also for the governments themselves, the ability to better prepare for all these folks that are about to come. They know what they're going to do. They can cross-reference analytics and data about what they were there for last time, and again, better automate and better prepare for their visits. That improves and makes faster the servicing times as well. So you can obviously see the benefits there for things like the DMV. We've all suffered from that. Permitting offices, whether it's registering a new child or getting married or a builder's permit. Same thing for the courthouses for all these appointments. Public sector hospitals. We are doing a lot there in Latin America and soon to be in the US as well. And quite frankly, not only within the state and local levels, There's also a lot to be done at the federal levels as well. You think about the VA, Health and Human Services, Army bases. There's a lot to do there too.
So we're nearly a year into the pandemic. The country are now reopening, right, and social distancing and everything that comes along with that. Where does Whyline fit into this whole new normal that we're experiencing?
Yeah, we got a 5-year head start on this, and we've seen a lot of very small newcomers coming into the market reactively. But the ability for us to very precisely showcase the congestion levels and wait times in advance for folks to make informed decisions about where to go and when, can better plan their day, and most importantly, can wait from the safety and comfort of their home, car, or wherever they are. It's really important and prospectively life-saving stuff. And conversely, for the governments to better manage that capacity, know precisely how many folks they have coming in at any given moment, better prepare for that, both in terms of retail space, in terms of real estate space, but also from an operational perspective. How should they align their resources more optimally pursuant to that predictably higher and lower periods of congestion for each of their offices? It's really powerful stuff for this new normal, and we've been doing a lot, and we're very proud of the work that we're doing, which is essentially on the technological front lines.
Yeah, it seems like Whyline's really just, the trends around the future of work have accelerated, and this is a direction we were going, and you're 5 years ahead of the curve. So I'm excited about seeing, this applied, especially to the DMV use cases you were talking about. I think we could all deal with that. So post-pandemic, in your perspective, where do you see the future of government work headed, and how are you preparing Whyline to kind of help deal with some of those new hybrid use cases going forward?
Yeah, great question. I mean, we see a lot about now this, this new talk about the touchless economy, right? And how consumer behavior is now being morphed into things that people didn't necessarily suspect would happen so quickly. But again, because we had this head start and we've already solved this pain point, which still will exist, whether there's COVID or not, we fit squarely nicely into be able to help meaningfully with that. And the other thing that we realized was that people already started using solutions for purposes of smart cities and their own navigation, like Google Maps or ways to help you navigate between 2 points, right? How do I get from point A to point B? What's the best way to go? How do I outsmart traffic, and how long is it going to take me? But until now, there was no comparable solution that gave you that pristine visibility into point B or into your destination of choice before you got there, and a way to game it. What is the live congestion level for the type of service I'm looking for based on where I am right now, my GPS location? What are the live wait times bifurcated by service for where I need to go? And can I game it by entering into the queue or scheduling my dynamic appointment before, and not have to worry about waiting another 45 minutes or an hour once I get there? COVID or not, you're wasting time, and it's really part of the total travel time that really just hasn't been solved before.
Right. So can you share with our audience a little bit of what you've learned in your experience with working with government and scaling a company in the GovTech market?
Yeah, the GovTech sector, it's certainly a unique animal. We have done some stuff in the private sector as well, as we've begun to reach that level of scale, and there are notable differences. Having said that, in a positive way, if you have the right partners and support infrastructure and experience to navigate that terrain, which is substantially different than the private sector, it is way more impactful, both from a social impact opportunity, both financial and otherwise, and the operational efficiencies that I was talking about before. All of that is really on the table, and GovTech, in my view, has been an overlooked sector for many SaaS solutions and software solutions in general coming to market. We're very proud of the work that we're doing, and we're very proud of the fact that we've been able to crack that nut, so to speak, and really make inroads into a very important sector that others have not. So, if others haven't tried to navigate this terrain, their loss is really our gain.
Great. Any notable surprises or stories from the trenches along that journey?
Oh, tons. I'll just share 2 quick ones. Right when we started, we started in Latin America, specifically in Argentina. A couple of the co-founders are from there, so we had a pretty good Rolodex there. We got a very quick win with a pretty significantly large RFP with city government in Buenos Aires, and That RFP timeline went on time and got the final interview. We got it, and we were a newcomer. We thought, wow, this is going to be so easy. We're going to blow the lid off this thing right away. We're going to get 1 million RFPs, off the bat. And obviously that wasn't the case. So we learned that the hard way. But it was better that it happened that way. So we actually built the company the right way and lived it in a sense of what this market really is and how we can better prepare to scale with it. The other quick one happened earlier this year. I would say we got pulled into an amazing project, very important work with the likes of Oracle, Adobe, Accenture, and Splunk to help deliver our remote queuing expertise for COVID testing centers that were springing up all over the place. And mind you, we're a startup. We are a growing startup, but we are a startup. So working alongside these monster $150 billion plus market cap companies, it was interesting. So when you had different groups popping up for legal and PR, and everyone else is sending their internal head of legal and their internal head of PR, and we're still a pre-Series A company, it was interesting. So I was telling my colleagues, hey, you're head of PR today, so report back to me whatever you hear, attend that meeting. You're head of legal, go into that meeting, make sure you back channel with our corporate attorneys behind the scenes, and don't commit to anything without checking with them. But it was a bit of that. So obviously we've come a long way since then, even though that was a year ago. But yeah, startup trench stories, I guess.
You could probably write a book about all of those stories. I know there's countless in the market, so it's great to hear all the learnings that kind of come from that. And as you said earlier, I mean, we're incredibly bullish about GovTech as a market, as an industry of industries, and we've seen incredible success from companies that have really doubled down on focusing on state and local government as a customer. So I think you're a testament to that, taking your success in Latin America, both in the private sector as well as in the government there, and applying that here in the U.S. to solve one of the most painful problems that we all have and that we've all collectively experienced. So with that new funding and infrastructure, what's next for Whyline?
Yeah, obviously very exciting times for us, and we're very honored and appreciative of the trust in us, and we're very excited about the partnership. For us, it really is about leaning into the US GovTech market on a trailing basis. As you've correctly noted, we have done a lot of really good work in the Latin American space, and now more so in the US, and we intend to continue to do so. But this partnership and this funding will allow us to augment the sales, marketing, lead gen process that is really important to this. And again, from an advisory standpoint, help us navigate that difficult terrain, get us in front of the right decision makers so we can have those meaningful conversations. And it also allows us to hire more, sales, operations, solution architects, engineers, all of which are critically important to be able to execute in the method and pace that we absolutely need to help these government customers and also help our shareholders.
So great. Where does our audience go to learn more about Whyline and its capabilities?
Sure. So you have access to our website. They're on the screen, whyline.com. And if you have any questions or would like to see a demo, talk through this, please contact me directly. My email is now on the bottom of the screen, mike@whyline.com. Would be more than happy to hear from you and carve out time to chat.
Great. Mike, we want to thank you first and foremost for joining us today. And we're so excited about your company, your technology, and the team, and can't wait to see how you continue to accelerate in the state and local government market over the years to come. We also want to welcome you to the eRepublic Ventures family, and we want to wish that you catch us next week on the next episode of In Case You Missed It.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Take care.